We're live. We're live. The camera is on and we're live. Welcome back. Welcome. Episode number, well, technically we had the world premiere last week. So we're calling this episode 1, but it's really episode 2, technically. No? Nort, what do you think?
Episode 1. We're labeled as episode 1, but as you can see, we are back for the second time since 1989.
That is true. The second time since amazing. I'm sorry. I'm also looking at us side by side, and I am having the visual freak out for a moment. Right, like we used to when we were younger. We used to just look at ourselves in the mirror because our faces are so different. Ours has a longer face and mine is rounder, and like our coloring is so different. We'd be like, visual freak out.
Yeah, we apologize.
No,
but
we
we're
don't.
The host.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to it. Nort, so last week we talked about, well, we discussed 1984. We discussed as it pertained to going into the season last year, preparing for what it was going to be like running camp in a pandemic. There were no guidelines and we didn't really know what we were doing. And it reminded us of when we were in English class in 1984 and we had a teacher that said George Orwell lied, and he went on about creationism. And one of our viewers from last week had some comments about that, felt that we weren't really getting to the heart of what that book was about. Like it wasn't a good analogy, for lack of better expression. So we have brought said viewer on to talk a little bit more about the book. So another one of our high school friends, bringing on Scooter. There he is. Hi, Scooter.
Hi, Mo. Hi, Nort.
Welcome to the Mo and Nort Show, second time live since 1989.
Thanks for being with us. So, Scooter, we just wanted to talk a little bit further. Like, your feedback was really invaluable to us because we were perhaps misquoting something or remembering something that didn't really pertain to 1984. So out of respect for George Orwell and and to our viewers, wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about 1984 and maybe where we had a misperception.
This is total incentive for your viewers to offer critiques. They end up getting the future guests. Awesome.
Well said.
I thought so much of the story was so rich, but I thought it was leading in a direction that it didn't go. So I ended up a little confused. So you were saying how at the beginning of the pandemic, you thought this reminded you of 1984. And certainly on this side of the pandemic, a year later, when I think about the ways that 1984 was invoked for the past year, I think of it like sort of from the right. People are talking about this totalitarian state and this hyper surveillance manifested by the state, right? So it's a restrictions of freedom as part of that hyper surveillance. That's one end. From the other end, perhaps from the left or any kind of people critiquing Trump, it's just this sort of the way that he almost sounded like, when he's using words like bigly, sort of this just poverty of vocabulary and poverty of ideas and euphemisms and frank doublespeak. These are some of the aspects of 1984 I think of from the past year, and I think they're often associated either way with either at least perhaps totalitarianism one way or the other, and certainly with a dystopia at least. And I think you were originally thinking of it. I mean, you were certainly invoking it in this image of this dystopia, but really for you guys, you had this awesome twist because when you went, what it really was for you was back to the person who was teaching you in 1984, and just as the adult in the room doing such an awful job. So that for you, it was A, dystopia, but B, like the absence of authority. And really, like to me, when I think about the past year, the real horrific aspect of COVID-19 in America was this absence of leadership, this absence of authority. And that way, it was your original memory of quote unquote 1984 from 1984 that really characterized 2020. And so that was the way I was reading the room, totally misreading the room, but that was how I thought of it.
Scooter, That was so well said. If we had a polling feature right now, we could ask our viewers which of the three heads on the screen was in the top 1% of the Cherryville High School class in 1989.
Which one had hair back then as well?
Dude, I don't know. Who may have been the valedictorian? I don't know.
No. Anyway, 1984 for me was Karate Kid, Born in the USA, Purple Rain, and that's also when I read 1984 too. So.
Well, thank you. I mean, truly, I think you just summed up what we thought we had said on our first world premiere episode and what we discussed last year, which was exactly that point at the end. It was about this absence of leadership and absence of authority. And when Amy and I, or when Mo and I were discussing it, not even thinking of 1984, when we were discussing the challenge we were facing about how to proceed in terms of being responsible for the welfare of a sizable community of young people and their families, we remembered that moment in 1984 when we first, through that book, realized that authority is actually something real. It's not just something you're given, it's something you need to be responsible for. And we felt that lack of it, and we were thinking about our own selves as some form of authority or leader. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Scooter.
And 1984 is the year before I met both of you, so there we go.
Oh, that's right.
Well, we're so grateful for your visit.
Back to the green room.
Please keep using the comment function.
Very young.
And hi to Derek and Candace. Derek and Candace are with us. Thank you for your beautiful comments. They love us so much. And Derek says, poverty of language, well said.
Agreed.
Are we saying goodbye to Scooter?
Lovely
we
to see you
are.
both.
Yeah, we thank you, Scooty. I love how it's like goodbye.
Okay, Mo,
yes.
What else is up tonight?
What else is up? So just bringing it back to camp, right? Because we talked a little bit last week about how we're both camp directors. And I just want to talk a little bit further because we are in different geographic areas. Nort, you, of course, your camp is USDAN, which is a performing arts camp on Long Island.
Performing and visual.
And visual. Do not forget the visuals.
Right. So it's a camp of the arts.
A camp of the arts. They're not just performing there. They're doing a lot of things with the arts. And I'm the director at Camp Sirotaro, which is a traditional day camp in Massachusetts. We're outside of Boston. So we have different clienteles, if you will. I don't know if is clientele a word? Communities. Yes, even better. But that we're both in this endeavor. So bringing it back to last week, we talked a little bit about how that night in the rain, there was a lot of wine, and we were like both just beside ourselves. And that's when the 1984 thing came up, and like feeling like, where are the adults? Who's in charge here? And we weren't getting any guidelines, and how are we supposed to run a camp, and et cetera, et cetera. And then we got to talking about our respective camps. And I don't know if you remember this, but you said, what is your camp's avant-garde? And my initial reaction was like, my what? And then I was like, oh, these art camp people, but then we talked about it a little further, and I'm not gonna lie, I did Google it on the side while we were talking. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, what's our special thing? Like, what's our panache? Is that right? Can you say more about how you interpret avant-garde in like a brief nugget?
Yeah, I think it literally, it's from the French, and I'm not a French speaker, but it means the advanced guard, the guard that went ahead, the guard that was on the front. So the foreguard, the front line of the military. And so but in the arts community, especially visual, actually all art forms, the avant-garde is the thing that is to come. So if you are the avant-garde today, you might be the thing that's not that recognizable or comfortable or familiar but in the future, it will become much more the norm. So I was curious, like, what is the thing that you're driving that might not yet be accepted in your community or our culture at large, but that because of your effort and the beliefs of your program and your community will one day become accepted? And they'll say, oh, see with Taro, they were so the avant-garde circa 2020, 21.
Mhm.
That's what I
Okay,
was
okay. That's great. That's great. And I look forward to, we can talk a little bit about it tonight, and we can next week, in next week's episode, go even deeper into what our respective avant-gardes are.
Well,
Yeah, I think
I had this strict vision that we would have 5-minute maximum episodes, and we've
oh,
doubled that tonight. So it's your call if we should keep going or if we should plant the seed, and all of our viewers
let's,
could think about the avant-garde.
I think that I like that. We're planting the seed. Next week, we're going to talk more about avant-garde, and it would be great if our viewers, if anyone wants to think about like what is your, in whether your job or in your own personal beliefs, what is your avant-garde?
Yes. What's your vision? What's the
Yes,
future that
we.
you're creating? Remember, because our belief is that camp allows for a better future. So we're curious among our viewers, whether you work in camp or don't work in camp, just what is that better future you're foreseeing? What's your avant-garde?
I love that. Mwah. I really wish that we had like props nearby and had like berets and like
Next week,
like I'm Frenchie.
and I'm going to share, I'm sorry, this is a little clunky, but I'm going to share. Oh, one of the most popular features of our first show apparently was the takeout, the outtake, when we showed our
video.
Yeah, so today I have a picture of us to share, of us for everyone to see. Oh, goodness.
I don't even know which one.
My entire screen feels risky. Okay, share it. Wait, I'm going to find it.
Just do it.
Oh, God, what is happening? Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, wait. Oh, there we are. You got it.
This is Homecoming.
You want to talk about what it is, Nort? What we're doing?
Well, you know what? Next week we'll include a photo with some of our favorite fans, and we'll describe it more.
And perhaps we'll have special guests from that.
Okay, bye,
Glorious
everybody.
day.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Ciao.
Bye.